Good morning, everybody. This is Richard back at you. We got Miss Teresa on the camera. We got Annie, always hanging out, guys. Let me tell you, I got a real special vehicle in the house today that we're really excited about. Going to be able to work on and make it beautiful again, I guess you could say.
Cool stories that we hear about these vehicles, huh?
Oh, I'm telling you, we get some cool cars in here for sure, huh,
exactly.
Teresa? We really do. We got Ron's 70 model 383 RoadRunner in the house, one owner car. This car was bought in Pampa, from a dealership in Pampa. The dealership's not open anymore, but this is a one owner car. Odometer says 2,020 miles on it. It shows the last time it was tagged was back in '93. What they did was they bought the car, started having kids, decided to park the car, and you know, things were rough back in the 70s and 80s, you could imagine. I think they had 3 or 4 kids, so they just parked the car, put it up, and they finally got it out and started driving it again. Went to the power tour, I believe, in 2024. Right here you can see this. They did that, and they realized that you know, 70 miles an hour down the highway and stuff. The car had been sitting a long time.
Let's look inside.
Yes, look inside. Go ahead, just go to the...
Oh, it's green.
Yeah, it's a gold car. It had a green vinyl roof on it, but they took the green vinyl roof off. They didn't like the green vinyl roof. Got the green interior, kind of an odd color, gold and green. Now they've done some things to it. When they got back from the tour, they did a lot of idling and stuff like that, and I guess 100-something degrees, and it just didn't like that, I guess. And so he ended up coming back, he had the original radiator cleaned and put in. He didn't like it, so he went ahead and bought a replica, which is an all aluminum radiator, and but it's identical. And then he put an electric fan on it, and he said that made such a big difference on idling and stuff when it's cool. Now you can see they did an Elderbrock intake on it, but other than that, this car is all original. Never been touched.
Crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You just don't see them no more, let me tell you. Being a one-owner car, this car has got to be really sought after. I mean, it's a beautiful car.
Oh, yeah.
Let's look underneath and see. Like I said, it's been sitting a long time. But we're going to be pulling the tranny out. I see leaks on the floor underneath the car. He said once it sets for a while, it just leaves spots, and he's want to get that taken care of. Motor doesn't smoke, runs fine, no noises. Oh, really cool. If you want to find a car to have, this is one, because believe me, there is not even a speck of rust on this vehicle anywhere. I mean, it is really, really cool for being that old. You can see the drips on the floor underneath the car, so it's definitely got some leaks. There we
Yeah,
go.
this says 93 back here.
Yeah, lots of places says 93, but they have a sticker on the dash or on the windshield that says it's a little newer. Or not newer, but when they had it stickered for the power tour.
Yeah.
Looks like you put a new gas tank in it. Like I say, this car, it's set forever after they bought it. And that's why it's in such good shape. All the floor panels look brand new. I mean, look at all this stuff, just solid. Still got the coating on it everywhere, no rust.
Wow.
I mean, awesome.
It's not leaky.
Yes, they did a service on it, and they used one of them rubber pan gaskets that always leak, squishes out and stuff. But we're going to take it out, go through the whole unit, freshen it up really good. Even the tranny mount is just flat as a board, all cracked and busted up. So I actually got a new one of them coming. It should be here today. But really neat, guys, when you find cars like this to work on. It's really cool. I couldn't imagine. I was in '70. I was 10 years old. I was born in '60. Actually,
you were born '65. Your
You were
birthday
born in-
was yesterday. I was born. No, you were
What are you
born in
talking about?
60. Sorry. You're right.
I was born in 60. She's born in 65.
That's right. I'm a youngster.
Yeah, right.
He just had his birthday yesterday.
Yeah,
So.
just turned 64. It's crazy. I mean,
Exactly.
time just goes by so fast the older you get. You know, when you're young, you don't realize it. It's just a birthday, but man, when they come around awful quick when you get older, let me tell you. But I'm fixing to get this out, get it on the bench. All my TransStar parts come in this morning. A couple pieces didn't, but we do got our clutches and steels and bands and everything come in. Still waiting on a bushing kit, rear case support, but pretty much everything here's in. What I like about it is we're going to be installing a Sonex PR valve to upgrade the loop circuit. This thing, once I put a new manual valve in too, it'll pump in park, neutral, all that type of stuff. So this here's a Sonex loop valve. They got a check valve and a ball and spring in here. Instead of drilling a hole through the land where you have a constant leak, converter drain back and stuff, this here has a check valve. When you fire it up, it opens the valve, adds oil to the loop circuit. When you turn it off, it closes. That way there's no oil leakage by the valve. This is a must on every one we do, all of our Dodge diesels. Anything Chrysler that'll accept that valve, we put it in there on every one of them. So can't wait to get this one out and get it on the bench and get it tore apart just to see what it looks like
I
from back
agree.
in the days.
Definitely.
Yes. Well,
Something
anyway,
different.
oh, definitely. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank Miss Teresa for recording, and Annie, always guarding the shop. We'll add this video to the teardown video, so it's one video instead of having two, so we don't do shorts. So anyway, y'all have a great day, and we'll see you shortly. Okay, this is Richard back at you. We got Ron's 70 model RoadRunner in the house. We got his 727 out, 383 steel crank motor, internally balanced. You have to remember that when you start messing with Chrysler torque converters and Chrysler motors, because some of them were internally balanced and some of them were externally balanced. If you ever look here and don't see a weight on the converter, it's going to be an internally balanced crankshaft. And being this has no weight, being the year it is, it's actually going to have a steel crank in it instead of a cast crank. Cast cranks were all externally balanced, and the steel cranks were all internally balanced with no weight. Now if you notice here, the ring gear is made to the torque converter for the starter, and then you have a flex plate that mounts to the crankshaft that attaches here. Now these do bolt up a certain direction. You just can't put a bolt in it and go to the next one and line up. You have to physically line them up. I was looking for a little mark here. Some of them had a little round circle, and the flywheel had a dot. You just kind of put the round circle with the dot.
Well, if that's all original, that's probably gone by now.
Well, it was an indent. It was like a indentation mark usually in them, but you know they could have started that a little bit later too. Crazy how Chrysler, they just put them in. Terrible paint job. Back in the day, they didn't want to give you much, I guess. These cars were so cheap back in the day. Man, if I had the money, I'd have bought like 100 of them. Now, the only thing wrong with this unit, he said it worked perfect. It just leaked everywhere. And if you look at it, I mean, it's been setting for a long, long time. Leaking out of the shifter shaft seals, pan gasket. I mean, a little bit of everywhere, it looks like. Now, this does have a TV rod, kind of like your 700 R4s have a TV cable. This has a TV rod that physically has to be adjusted. When the car is idling, this lever is forward. When you give it gas, it moves it back. You put it on the floor, it pushes it all the way back and trips passing gear. Now this does control shift pressure. If you left this off, it would shift in 10 feet and flare every time it shifted. So this has to be set up and adjusted properly so it'll shift out right and have the right pressures to shift out. I've actually seen guys take a piece of wire and tie this back just a little bit and hook it to the cooler line when they didn't have their linkage and kind of get the shift set that way, but it's not the same as putting it on the floor on the shift. I mean, the pressure will not be there for it. Now there is a seal in the top of this shaft right here. this TV lever, there's a little seal under this snap ring, and there's a washer. They're always bad about leaking, running fluid out there, and then you have your shifter shaft seal under here. So there's actually two seals right here that can leak. You got your shifter shaft seal in here, and then you have another seal down in here. You pull that clip. Go ahead and take the speedometer assembly out here. Got a little two clips on it, or fingers on it that hold it. Now this will turn different directions because it's made for, I do my pliers. It's made for different gear ratios, so different size of gears. You'll notice here there's a 32 on here. On this here, if you clean this off really good, you'll see this piece here is good for different gears. If you notice here, it says 39 to 45. This is a 32. It's kind of weird, huh? Did that say 39, Teresa?
Yes, it does.
It does, doesn't it? This is a 32. So you wouldn't think that would work in there.
Well, yeah, 39.
Is it 30? Might be a 30, 45. I can't tell.
Nope, it's a 39.
It's weird to have a 32 gear in here, though. Normally it would have to be between the
39 and 45.
yeah, to get it to clockwise, because if you know this is offset.
Sure.
See, and then you got your fingers that go in here or in here. Now you do have a rubber seal down in here too. Right there, and it's got a little clip that holds it in. There we go. Now they do make another seal that you can put in here that has a spring around it. They don't come in a kit. You have to buy them separately. That actually seals a lot better than this junky old seal here. Get a couple of these tail housing bolts out real quick. I'm gonna flip it, and then we have our cover right here for our clip that keeps our output shaft from sliding back and forth. Some of these can be on the side, some of them are on the bottom. The Dodge overdrives are on the top, depending on what you got going on. And there's your clip right there. Of course, you'll open it up like that, pull the tail housing off. Excuse me. And you can open this snap ring right here and you'll watch the output shaft fall. You see that fall just a little bit? When you put it back together, you have to lift it up and lock it. But to take it off, you just do that. Come over here, do that. Pick this up like that.
Easy peasy.
Snap ring's down in there. Now this is your park linkage here. When you move your shifter, this pulls that way, pushes this lever out and locks it into your parking here. This is your park. If you ever put in park, while you're rolling, you hear that click, 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 that brrr sound. That's what you're hearing, it rubbing on that. If you put it in the park too soon before you come to a stop.
And a lot of people do that.
A lot of people do that.
A lot of people.
Well, they throw them in drive before they come to a stop. See that a lot too. We have our governor here. We have this bearing here, which you notice the snap ring is on the bottom, so you want to make sure you put it back in there right. Yeah, like I say, you got your governor here, you got a clip there, you got a clip here. Pull all that out, clean it. I always unbolt this, take this out because there's actually, it could be a filter under here you want to clean. Okay, this is one of Chrysler's biggest downfalls right here when it comes to leaks on this tranny. This pin right here is for your reverse band lever. It's only got one O-ring on it, and they leak every time you get one in here. They're pouring out right here. If you notice, the pin is really clean looking even. Like it's been washed a ton. If you get the Dodge diesels, later and some of the later versions, they have two O-rings on there. Chrysler finally realized that one wasn't going to cut it. We have our band adjustment here for our intermediate band. That's going to come out. I had a gentleman lose second gear the other day, and I told him to check his band adjustment, and normally they'll be out about like that if you still have some band left. But once you get down to here, and on the diesels, the Dodges, they have an Allen head in the bottom here. They don't have this square sticking out where you can put a wrench on it. It's got a Torx bit that sets in here, so you stick it in there. But if you tighten your nut down and that's in there like that, then you have no band adjustment left. And you know, this needs to be sticking out about that far. About a turn and a half, turn and 7/8 is about what your band adjustments are. Transtar always has instructions in their overhaul kits. They give you literature that you can look at, gives you band adjustments and what clutches do what and all that type of stuff. Of course, we have the famous rubber pan gasket that we always throw away. We are cork fanatics only. Normally there would be a magnet in this pan too. Pan don't look very, I mean, it's got trash here. You can see that type of stuff. Filter's just really, really terrible looking. Look at all the kind of gray looking. Anytime you get that gray like that, that's usually aluminum against aluminum, causing that color disconfiguration right there.
It's crazy, those pans aren't very deep.
No, there's not much there. I can actually put a deep pan on there for him. I might have one out there. It's a factory truck pan, like off of Dodge 518. They look about that deep. Still leave the filter in its original spot, but give him a little bit deeper pan, give him more fluid in the pan.
Well, especially since they go, like you said, touring.
Touring, yeah, they're going to be using this for touring. You can see how nasty that filter is. And I don't know if that's after they service it, because it's been serviced, so hard to tell. Shifter seal in the case, and like I was telling you, have another seal around this TV lever right here. Get that little clip off there. Don't want to lose it. Put it where you don't lose things. I got a pile of lost things over there.
Yeah, but
You can see this seal right here. This seal does go in a certain direction, so if you put it in upside down, it is going to leak. And a lot of people would put it in just like that. That is not how it goes in. It goes in just like that. So you want to remember that. Of course, you can see here they went to all screws. Takes a lot longer to take the valve body apart.
Yeah.
Now we'll see if I got a Phillips screwdriver that I can just grab real quick. Get that out of the way. Now you're going to have a spring and check ball right here for your detent. This goes in here like that, and then this ball runs on here, and that's your park, reverse, neutral drive, stuff like that. You're feeling click, 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 click in your shifter. This little ball and spring that goes in here. Now they do make an updated bullet and spring that you can put in here. A lot of times this ball will wear the end of this out right here, and this ball will move sideways like this. So your shifter will move. But you can put that new bullet in there and it eliminates that. I want to get this apart. Get down in here, show you what the Sonex valve looks like that or the valve that I'm replacing with the Sonex valve, which is this valve right here. We do have this your manual valve here. But remember, I was talking about the Sonex valve having a lube circuit. So this tranny will pump in park and in neutral now when we get done with it. That's not going to come out, but I don't know if I got a screwdriver here that I can take that apart all the way, because these are usually kind of snug. Not too shabby. There's just so many of them. Basically going to look the same pretty much on the inside of this valve body as your Dodge 518s, 500s, 48 REs, 47s. Now we are going to put a small shift kit in this just to help it just a little bit. Nothing crazy. Like I said, he's going to be driving this thing, and we want everything to last forever. We don't want real high pressures or anything like that. So. I'm curious to see how many clutches we have in high gear. If it's a 3 clutch pack or a 4 clutch pack. This just makes for a long video. If the torque's bit like the Dodges are and stuff, the overdrives, man, you can just whip these apart. But there's screws like this. A lot of times you can't even bust them loose. I have to put a wrench on the end of my screwdriver here just to hear them crack loose.
I can hear them.
Mm-hmm. They don't torque much. It's just they are taut though for a screwdriver and a greasy glove. First we have our check balls here. You can see here we've got multiple troughs. One here, here, and here. But this check ball here is special. It's the larger ball. Goes in the larger trough. Okay. But I was going to show you on this valve here.
They're rolling away.
I'm going to wipe my gloves off just a little bit. Don't want to handle the valve too much with dirt on my hand. But we clean everything before we put it in. So everything is just cleaned really well. But you can see this hole right here in this valve, and it comes through here. And what they're doing is, back in the old day, what do we do here? I know that's in there, right? What did they do to me? Did they change it up? They must have changed it up for me. It will not go in there. I'm gonna have to mic it. I'm pretty sure it says 727. Well, that's odd, huh? That one goes in, so I'm gonna have to do some little research here because the package does say 727. Let's see if it says a date. No, it doesn't say date, but this dude will not fit in there. Maybe it's mispackaged. I really don't know. I have to call Raymond at Transfer and talk to him a little bit about that. But normally, this would set in here like this, and it's putting fluid from this area here into this area here is what it does. Instead of drilling a hole through here and keeping a constant leak through here, they put a check valve in here, and when you turn it off, it closes, so fluid don't leak from here to here. So I'm gonna have to call them and talk to them on that part there and see what they say. It will not go in the bore. And of course, you got your plate here. A lot of times you'll have a ball in this area, a ball in this area, but not on this one here, being so early. You have your second gear feed here. You can drill your hole out here for second gear, and then you can drill your third gear hole out here. Still a lot to just a 3-speed. We have our accumulator here. Spring. You can actually leave that spring completely out and give you a little bit firmer second gear, or you can actually put a shift kit spring in there. You can hear this is our second gear servo here. This is our reverse servo here for our reverse band. The pin leaking right here is what goes through here. This lever, the one leaking out the back of the case right here. So anytime I put an O-ring on that pin, I silicone it into, just to make dang sure that it doesn't leak. Our anchors. Of course, all of our pump bolts have washers on them, and then plus we always silicone them in. We put an extra sealant on there. You have this cover here that covers your vent hole. This vent hole is in the pump area. It's not on the outside of the case or anything like that where most of your trannies are. If we do a 4-wheel drive unit that's going to be buried in mud and water, we actually plug this hole right here, and then we drill a hole in the top of the case right here and put a fitting, and then we run a hose up to the brake booster with a vent cap on it. That way no water can ever get in this tranny. You could actually submerge it then. Don't have to worry about it. Anytime you rebuild one of these units, you want to check that little plug right there. Because I've had these units, you come in and be leaking out of that little plug there. So you always want to reseal it. Tighten it, take it out, clean it, reseal it. I'm going to go grab my 13 real quick. Actually my half, if I can find it. Still waiting on our plastic curtains to come in. But so we put these up to kind of just seal the end of it. And boy, it made a difference, didn't it, Teresa?
Yeah, big difference.
Nice and cool in here. This is our early unit. By how you can tell is it has a narrow bushing that goes in this drum right here. I'll show you. See, it's got a narrow bushing, about that wide. The later versions have a wide bushing. You'll have to have a wide bushing here. Plus, you notice we have a hole in this drum. The later versions have a slash. If you put this drum where a slash drum's supposed to be, the sealing ring will be in the hole area right here. So this stuff has to be, if you're changing parts out, you have to go back with the same stuff, unless you go back with a later pump and a later drum. This drum Sealing ring change too, you got to be careful there. You always want to check it down in here for any type of differences there. I always size my sealing rings. When I take them off or take them out of the kit, you never know who made this sealing ring, where it cut, all that type of stuff. So just because you put it on and it fit, don't mean it's going to seal. So you always want to stick it down in your drum like that. That actually fits really loose. It's probably close to its end. But if you notice, see how these have these locks here? When it's in good shape, it's there. As it wears, it gets closer to the end of the lock. So. A little bit, come right out. Pump gears look really good on the back side. On this side here, this side, face and back, and then on the side look good. Mainly you want to look through here is where you'll see wear on these gears through here. Very seldom on the outer edges or anything like that. Bump bushing is the same for year to year. You want to check here for any wear. Pump body looks really nice. Same way here, you want to look here for anywhere. Looks really good. Put a set of gears in it. Be ready to go. Now you notice here, in the earlier days they have what they call a hard band. This isn't a flex band, it's a hard band. If you grab a flex band, it's the same thing, it's just flexible. This band here is what they call a hard band. These are really stout bands for racing and stuff like that, but they're expensive and they can be hard to find sometimes. So tips are a little bit wore on this band here. Like I said, this ain't no race car. He's not going to drag racing it, out tearing it up or anything like that. So, but I wanted to look at this drum. See what we got here. Clutches we got. Well, we got a 4 clutch. Now we can make this a 5 clutch by doing some swapping with some stuff out of the forward drum. If you have everything on the shelf, you can do it real easy, which we keep a lot of stuff on the shelf. So just saying, if I want to make this a 4 clutch, it does not have a wavy snap ring, it's just a flat snap ring. So we can take that, put that in there, that. I'm just going to borrow some clutches out of this in a steel. So we're going to take this clutch and steel and put it in here. Now we got 5 clutches in here, and then we're going to take this top hat right here. Or excuse me, this is the ply plate out of the forward drum. So basically everything went in the middle. This is on top, snap ring here, ply plate there. But you can take that ply plate, stick it in there now, like that, and take this snap ring. Will not go in there no more because of this is standing up. But what you can do is go get you a 350K snap ring, 700, 4L60E K snap ring. They're all the same. They'll fit right in there. So, and also let me tell you, when you put this back together, I put this together in the pump, and when I air check this drum, this plate right here cannot touch this. This is going to be lifting up just a little bit, so if it touches there, you're in trouble. So what I do is I'll come in here and I'll machine about 1/8 of an inch off this plate, top of this plate right here, and that'll give me enough clearance in between here. It's worth doing it because you get that extra clutch, especially race cars and stuff like that. This one here is not so much, you know, he's not going to hot rod it or anything. 4 clutches is plenty. On these here, we do have this little washer that goes on the end of the output shaft right here. Little carbon fiber looking washer sits down in there. You have your apply piston, your wavy snap ring, you have your bevel plate, your solid wire ring. Now these aren't come in plastic too in the later versions. If you can find a steel one to put in your later versions, do it. But they do put the steel ones in the earlier versions. Ain't gonna pull that out yet. Not until I take something out of there. I think I tightened that. You notice it's got a 4-pinion aluminum planet in it. That's okay for driving and stuff like that, but for race car applications, that's a no-no. Especially if you're putting a trans brake in this thing, it'll strip that aluminum planet right out of there. Come on. Really? Thing looks good. Can't get behind it. There we go. Little jewel here. If you have a trans brake or anything high power, you're going to strip this planet right here. This is your forward planet that moves the vehicle forward. If you know how to do it, you can retro a 48 RE steel planet in here, but you got to really know what you're doing to get it to fit. And also the spline count on this, it's the same, but the distance is different, so it really doesn't want to fit. So I always update the output shaft to the later version, and then your steel planet will go right on that spline right there. But if you try to put it on a steel one under now, it's not going to fit. Should have thrust washers. Another one here. And you got your shell. Sun gear here. You want to look at this for any pitting, wore out or anything like that. Make sure it doesn't rock a ton. That right there is normal. That's normal. Of course, you have another thrust washer 4-tab. And then you have a aluminum rear planet, which is fine. But if you go back with a steel planet, you'll physically have a washer that sits on here like this, and then the washer will run against this piece here, this piece. Instead, they put this piece in here, and now making the planet be a washer, and now the planet runs on this. Because this physically is splined, so once it goes in there, it doesn't turn. It turns with this. So, but your planet is the washer. These come in wore real bad. You have to replace them. There's nothing you can do about it. Just replace them. Okay. If you notice here too, they put a 3-tab washer on this part here, where all the others are 4-tab. Now, when you do go to the steel planets, these washers are going to be that wide. Night and day difference when you upgrade to steel stuff. Night and day. We have our reverse drum. Our band goes around. You want to not scotch brite this, 180 this up really good to put your new band in there. And then this area right here you want to check. Your cooler line oil comes in and hits this area instantly. So if you get a tranny converter failure or circulating a lot of metal, it's going to take this out right here. Of course, you have your reverse band, which it's pretty thin and dark. And you have your strut there. I'm going to tap that pin out. Actually, it almost just fell out. Remember me talking about the pin leaking? See the little one O-ring? Just don't cut the mustard. put a new O-ring on there, but you still want to silicone it right in, and then you won't ever have that issue no more. But that's just a bad design from Chrysler right there. Of course, you have your output shaft with your governor. You got your 2 sealing rings here. Like I say, if you're going to go to a steel planet, you'll have to update this to a later version, but it is identical. It's just the splines are a little bit different right here to accept that steel planet. Some of these come right out. Some of them you got to kind of rock them a little bit, play with them. But they will come out. This one's a little tighter than normal. Normally they come out a little easier than that. But you don't want to be violent with it. You want to take your time to take it out. It's slowly moving.
Very slowly.
Very slow. It's starting to move a little bit better. Huh. But you want to be careful. You don't want to bend it or warp it or anything like that. But this is a critical area you want to check, because like I said, if metal gets in here and wipes this out, that support's wiped out too. Normally they're not this tight. Normally they'll come out a little easier than that. Tight through here. Now this is your cooler line right here. Your oil comes out of your cooler. Cool oil coming in to lubricate comes through here, hits in this trough here. You can see it comes through here and then comes out this hole right here and lubricates the output shaft, lubricates this area right here. This is the part that I was telling you that'll get wiped out. You can see oil comes through here. I always drill this hole a little bit bigger to get a little bit more oil on there. Of course, you have your reverse servo right here. Oh, look at that. Blew that seal. It went right into reverse. That's what's crazy. Must have had just enough sealant right here to make the band come on. But that dude's definitely blowed, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a bite taken out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely had a little bit of issue with reverse. I didn't feel it when I brought it in. I just fired it and put it right here and come in. Actually, I didn't back it up, did I? Because he parked it where...
Yeah, no, you just pulled it in.
Yeah, I just pulled it in. Now this is our intermediate servo here that applies the second gear band. They made different variations of this stuff through here. It's the early design stuff. All this has been upgraded to a different totally design. This design works really well though, but they did change it. They actually, what they did is the pin is stuck in here with a spring and a seal, and they put a little weep hole in the side of right here that kind of gives it a cushion to bring your second gear band on. Gives it a little bit of play through that area. And I think why they did that is because whenever you put this tranny in manual low, you bring on the reverse band to help support the sprag in the back of the case. When you shift it to second gear, the reverse band comes off, your second gear band comes on. Well, you know, when you're building a race car, you want that second gear to hit so hard and so positive that you're almost not given enough time to let the reverse band get out of there. So you're bringing on second and the reverse band's on for just a millisecond. So that's probably why they did that, to just give it a little bit of delay bringing the band on, to give the reverse band time to get off there. And also Chrysler does leave their second gear band adjustment a little loose for that same reason. So, but anyway, this is going to be a pretty good cleanup and put back together with all new parts. I'm really excited to get this back together and go drive that beauty, huh, Teresa? 70-mile RoadRunner, guys, one owner, really awesome, 383 car, beautiful. I want to thank Miss Teresa for recording. Feels a lot better in here today, doesn't it, with a mini split, doesn't it?
Almost gonna get this.
We couldn't. You go out in the shop, it's like hot
Just
out there.
walking from the house to out here is it's bad.
It's terrible. But guys, don't forget to, and gentlemen and ladies, don't forget to subscribe, push the notification bell, go check out our merch store, and another one will be coming. Have a great day.